Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dr. Velma Talks. This is a special season, and I want to welcome you to this new season. It's called What's Love? 5 Tuesdays in this month, in the month of June, where I have guests coming on to talk about that very topic. It's coming on the heels of my book release, which captures my lifelong marriage of 50 plus years. It's called My 70s Love Story 50 plus years later. I received the inspiration from God to do this particular series during the month of June because June is considered the month of love, and there are lots of weddings that occur this month. So, what would be the perfect time to have a conversation around love? The month of June. And I have the women that's going to show you. I have the women that's going to leave you with nuggets that you should be glad you had an opportunity to hear. These are wives, these are women who understand what love, true love, honest love is compared to some of the misconception out there in the world. So please welcome my guest today, Dr. Anissa Short. Welcome to the show, Dr. Anissa.
Dr. Velma, thank you so very much for the opportunity. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, girl, I'm so glad to have you on today. You have no idea. I'm excited. So, why don't you tell the audience about you, your projects, and even your recent book release? Tell us about it.
Oh, wow. Well, okay. Well, I am Dr. Anissa Short, the success strategist and the director of the Chosen Pen Group by way of my publishing platform through Chosen Pen Group, my speaking platform as an author myself, and my media podcast. Let me just say, my podcast platforms, I serve to amplify the voices of authors, entrepreneurs, speakers, and those willing to make a difference, people in the community making a difference. So
Yay.
I absolutely love what I do. I've been engaged in business for quite a few years in varied aspects. And so I've been able over the years to bring all of my gifts and talents under one umbrella. Never thought I'd be in the publishing space or even media for that matter, but I'm loving the ride. And so I'm married of 28 years to one man. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. And my most recent book released actually last month, which was my anniversary month. My newest book is entitled Why I Said Yes. And in that book, I offer 10 tips, or I should say clues, that give clarity to why I made the commitment to marry my husband.
Well, what are they?
Oh, so glad you asked. It just so
Mhm.
happens I have a copy here in front of
Please,
me. Yeah.
please share.
Okay, so the 10 characteristics. One, his approach.
Mhm.
Number two, he honored what mattered to me. Number three, his consistency allowed me to be confident.
Mhm.
Number four, he paid attention to detail. He didn't just hear me, he understood me. Number
Mhm.
five, his faith was not performance driven.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Number six, I was a priority, not an option.
I hear those priorities.
Number seven, I felt safe being fully myself
Mhm.
and continue to do so. Number
Mhm.
eight, he was persistent. Number nine, he was disciplined. And number 10, the conversations that we had in our courtship had depth and they brought a measure of joy. He was not, he added to my peace. Let me say it that way.
This isn't the mic right now.
Okay.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. Really powerful. You've already dropped some heavy nuggets for the audience. If you haven't gotten the book, you need to get one
Yeah, it's available now
because
on Amazon.
yes, that's powerful and so true and right on point. So, what made you do that? What made you come up with those 10 points?
I've been wanting to share our story because I think our story is like the best story ever, mainly because of how things kind of evolved in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But what really precipitated me deciding to write the story the way in which I did is because of the conversations had in beauty shops, the conversations had, around lunch. A lot of the posts I see on Facebook where I got sister friends that are dating and they're talking about, the interesting situations they find themselves in. And, some women are discouraged. They feel like there are no good men out there, which I don't believe. I believe there are good men out there. And
I
then
do
some
too.
just don't have a clue what to look for. We get too caught up in the superficial, and there's nothing wrong with the exterior. Don't get me wrong, the bells and whistles, but that's not what you should build your foundation on, you know. And so because of that, I said, okay, well, I'm going to tell my story, share my story of how Alfonso and I met in our courtship. But in doing so, I don't want it just to be about me shining the light on our relationship and that be all. It had to have a purpose behind it. And that's why I wrote it the way in which I did.
Those 10 points are phenomenal. They're very heavy and powerful and so true.
Thank
And
you.
something you said has always been something on my heart throughout the time that I've been writing, and that is how so many women get it wrong.
Yeah.
The approach that they use is so wrong. And like you said, you refer to the exterior, I refer to it as conditions. And
Yeah.
conditions change over time.
Absolutely,
Have,
they will.
girl, I'm not the same person physically that you see today that walked down the aisle at 20.
Yeah.
I'm now 71. So that girl is gone. And so my husband is not the same 20-year-old that marched down the aisle either. At
Hmm.
72, Big Afro, Elvis is gone. He has left the building. And so when we base it on those things, we really get it wrong. You want a strong physique, that's conditions, because that can flip anytime.
Yeah,
Some people even set a dollar amount on what he should be making. Well, that's also fleeting because it's a condition that changes over time too. I started out making more than my husband, but he exceeded my income within 5 years and kept it that way for until he retired.
yeah,
So if you counted on those kind of things, conditions change
they do.
as
And
time progress.
it's not to say that those conditions don't have a value, but they
Right.
shouldn't be the foundation of the
Not at
relationship.
all.
Period.
Absolutely.
You
Or
know,
for you
that's
making a choice in the
exactly,
relationship.
yeah, right. It's
Hmm.
that's those are the types of things, because they're subject to change. You must be cognizant of that, because if that's what you base the relationship on, if that's the foundation for which you built your relationship on, you're gonna be grossly disappointed, and maybe sooner than
Absolutely.
later.
You absolutely. When I talk about conditions, Anissa, Dr. Anissa, I'm talking about those things that will make them not even go any further
Yeah,
in the relationship. They'll stop. They'll
yeah.
let the person go. And I was joking with one of the guests that I had on earlier. I said, "Can you imagine if single women were invited to that gathering at Jesse's house when God asked the prophet to bring the men
I
together,
know, right? Yeah,
uh-huh, Jesse's sons, to anoint the next king, and he brings these kingly looking sons of
I know,
his.
right? Right.
If the woman was invited there and said, whoever they anoint as the next king is going to be your husband, and God tells the prophet them none of these that he just paraded around because they had all the physique, the look, all of that.
Yeah.
And the one he decides to go out and get was out in the field doing his job,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't get a chance to clean up.
Mm-mm.
He didn't get a chance to put on the right cologne. He didn't get a chance to put on the right outfit. He had to come in his work clothes smelling like he's been at work.
Yeah, with the
And
sheep.
she would not. She
She would
would
have
not
felt
choose him.
jilted. She would have
She
felt
would not have
jilted.
chosen him. And not only
No.
that, add to that, you then had to wait because he was anointed king. He did not become king for at least close to 17 years later.
Yeah, right, right.
And a lot of women hate waiting.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. So tell me, what's love, Dr. Nissa?
You know, I was gonna sing a song, but I'm not gonna sing it. So
Oh, go ahead and sing the
no,
song.
no, love is a commitment. Love is an action word. It's not driven by emotion, it's driven,
Wait,
it's
what did you just say?
I said love is not driven, it's an action word that's not driven by emotion. It's
That
driven by,
part right there.
yeah, it's driven by one's commitment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
it's
powerful all by itself.
yeah, that's what it is.
Hmm.
And once we get past the once upon a time and happily ever after, that's the story they teach us. You know, the Hallmark movies are not real. I mean,
Girl,
they're warm and fuzzy, and trust me, I like sitting down and watching a good Hallmark
wait a
movie on
minute. There's no
occasion.
tiptoe to the tip through the
No,
tulips
it's
and
not. You know,
I
it's always gonna be the boy meets girl. There's some tension, and then all of a sudden they live happily ever after. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't have a happily ever after. I do believe that, but what they show us in media, what they show us in, I would say, in the mainstream
hmm
is a facade. It's not
it's not
true.
reality.
It's not
Hmm.
reality. It really
Yeah.
isn't. And so, the sooner you embrace what's real, the better
Hmm.
off you'll be.
That's a good point. What's real?
Real is relationship.
Hmm.
That's what's real.
That's right.
What's real is a relationship. My
Hmm.
husband and I became friends.
Hmm.
There was mutual respect as a colleague from the get go, but we became friends first. And so he may have had, a mission, mission possible, a mission impossible. I'm sure he thought that for a while, but but for but it was about building a relationship. It was
Hmm.
about getting to know a person as a person, not
Yeah,
necessarily a love interest. I'm really big on relationships, Dr. Velmo, not
I
necessarily,
agree.
and not so much as from a romantic sense, but I really believe in the importance of relationships. And I believe that people are your biggest resource. They're one of the biggest blessings that people, God can put into your life are the people. Many times, you're promoted, propelled to the next level because of who you know and the people who are around. So
Absolutely.
when I meet someone, I don't look at them as necessarily I should say when I met my husband, it was not what can I get out of him, or
Same
maybe
here.
this is my next
Me too.
person,
Hmm.
maybe he's the one. I wasn't the
No,
least bit interested.
I did not. I didn't do it either.
I mean, it wasn't the one or the two. He wasn't, it was just like he was. I met him like I met everyone else, but the
Hmm.
relationship evolved over time, and then by the time I went, I think he, oh my goodness, I think this guy likes me, like me. My friends were like, "Where have you been?" I was like, "What?" They was like,
Because
"We."
you were trying to keep it in the place where it should have stayed
It just
until it
never.
was time.
It
Yeah.
didn't. It was not an inclination. I mean, I enjoyed this conversation and things of that
Yeah.
nature, and when male female relation conversations, sometimes there's a little flirting or whatever. But I never. We were 800 miles apart from each other.
Hmm.
Who does that? Not me.
Right. Right.
So yeah, yeah,
Well, you took the right approach, and that's so important to people who
yeah,
are out there listening that that's the approach they should use.
yeah.
I don't understand this hurry up and grab somebody as soon as you can. That's ridiculous.
And you know what else I don't understand, Dr. Velma, is why we're so hungry and thirsty. I was never so
Wait,
anxious
wait. You're moving too fast. Why we are so hungry
and
and
thirsty.
thirsty? I asked that same
It's
question.
not cute.
The last time I heard that reference was when Jesus was on the cross and he said,
I
I
thirst.
thirst.
Yeah.
That's the only person I've heard say that. Nobody else should try to be that thirsty or hungry about anything that
I
you have
understand.
no control over.
I understand the desire to want to be married and to
That's
have
one thing.
companionship. That's one thing. But when I say hungry,
Oh, I
now
know. I
now
know.
the people think I was crazy. They actually was, for the longest time. I was always being match made. Anissa, you need to get out more. I don't need. No, I don't. Why?
No, I don't.
Because you're
No.
single, you need to get out and mingle. I'm not trying to mingle. That's
No.
just. I'm just not. I'm
Mm-mm.
not. But well, can I take you out to dinner? I'm not hungry. Maybe we should meet for drinks. I'm not thirsty. That's what I used. That was my phrase. I'm not
Right,
hungry and I'm not
right,
thirsty.
right.
My attitude was. My personal attitude. Now everyone's not like me, but my personal attitude was, if I'm not interested, I'm not going to even give you the inclination. I don't want you to think there's a
Yeah,
possibility. So
yeah.
no, I don't want pizza. No, I don't want to go to the movies. I just don't, because I could take myself to. I could buy my drink. I could buy my own meal. So I position myself, and I guess that's why some people say, "Well, you're just too independent. A man can't do anything for you." It's not about that. I just
No, it
wasn't
isn't.
interested, and I felt like I would be doing you a disservice to waste your time, and I definitely was not going to waste mine. So no, I wasn't
Right,
hungry. And
right.
some young women get excited, like he took me to Ruth Chris for dinner, girl, blah blah blah, and I'm like, you could buy a steak.
just the wrong focus, Dr. Anissa.
It is.
It
It
really
is.
is the wrong
Right.
focus.
And that's
Hmm.
how they can easily get caught up because the bells and the whistles, the baubles and the beads, the shiny stuff, which is nothing wrong with it, but that's not where you should build the foundation of the
First of
relationship.
all, build your foundation with God. God is number
Yeah.
one in my life. My husband is number two.
Yeah.
I'm
That
number
part.
two in his life because God is number one there.
Yeah.
And so we get the dynamics of our relationship so mixed up, and that's the position we should be in. You should be
Yeah.
busy making God number one in your life while you're
Yeah.
busy creating your
Right.
career, moving along in your life. Just
Exactly.
like you were saying, you weren't thirsty.
I
Why?
wouldn't. I
Because
wouldn't
I
think.
have a number one in my life and
Yeah.
I'm
That
doing
part.
good.
And Dr. Velma, everybody's faith or their walk with God differs.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, it was like it's not about being like my husband when he and I were he said, so I guess you a church girl. I'm like, absolutely, I sure am. I sing in the choir, I do the announcements, I was just going on with it. But at the end of the day, for me, it wasn't so much about attendance all the time and checking a box to say I'm going to everything that the church
Yeah.
hosts.
Yeah.
It was about me not compromising the values that I believe to
That's
be
right. That's
right.
right.
And so
Are
I'm a
important
king's kid. I am the king's daughter. And
that he should
everybody,
respect and value.
exactly. And so that's
Hmm.
how I considered myself. So it was just certain conversations I didn't even want to entertain. It was just
Right.
a waste of time. So
That's
so
right.
I just didn't engage in it. So when I met my husband, if he had come across from the get go that he wanted to pursue a relationship, I would have shot him down because of I would have mainly because we met through work and I didn't fraternize. We work with the same agency, different divisions, different areas, but I just didn't believe in fraternizing through work like that. So
Right. Right.
if he had approached me from that perspective, I would have shot him down for real
Hmm.
because of
Hmm.
the standard that I had, right?
Right.
But that wasn't how he approached me. So I guess God gave him wisdom.
Wait a minute. Did you just say a word, standards?
Oh, yes, there is a standard. Yes.
You had
I
standards.
had standards.
Is
I did.
that important?
It's very important. And it's
Isn't
important not only
isn't
to
that
have
just as
them,
important as boundaries?
yet all of the above. They're all in the same cookie. They're all in the same box of crayons.
Thank
Standards,
you.
boundaries. Yes,
Hmm.
all of that. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I would have to say that my my faith, my relationship with God was the foundation of the standards and boundaries I said, true enough. But
Absolutely.
also I was blessed and fortunate to have a daddy who was very involved.
Yes.
My father
Yes.
was not just present in the home, he was very engaging and he had
That's awesome.
conversations. He was very protective of my sister and I. So we had conversations. There were things that
Hmm.
he would say in a comical way when we were young, but as I got older, I understood what he meant. But then I was reminded of some of the things that he said, even during my courtship with my husband, and I make reference to that in the book.
Hmm.
That it came back that my, dad would say, "This is what we don't do. This is what we
Yeah.
don't do. You
Yeah.
know, we don't beg anybody to be in our space. You shouldn't have to. Da 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 da. That kind of thing."
Well, he was
Um,
the first one that taught me to make sure you gather the information you really need.
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
remember my dad and I were driving down the main street, and Bruce, at the time, my husband, at the time we were in high school, he was standing by the J.C. Penney store. And I just happened to see, I said, Dad, that's the young man that wants to come over and date me. And he looked and he says, he started rattling off all these questions that he wanted me to answer. Well, what does he plan to do after school? What's his goal in life? What exactly does he have in mind, Bob? And I said, Dad, I'm not trying to marry the guy. But little did I know, my dad understood it didn't matter. These are still
right.
those things that you should be aware of, and least information you should be gathering
Exactly. Yeah,
before you take it any further.
that's what the dating process is. It's a
Yes.
gathering, information gathering session. Those are
Uh-huh.
the types of conversations, and it's not a answer this question yes or no type of. It's
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah.
It's posing scenarios. It's hypotheticals. It's what do you think about this to get
Hmm.
people's candid opinions of circumstances, so you'll see how a person thinks, and then of course over
Hmm.
time to see if there's any variance in their responses, you know.
Absolutely. It should be
Yeah,
very intentional.
exactly,
We're
it
not
really
talking
should.
high school dating where we just giddy and excited about it and
No.
he's coming to my oh he's called me no, we're not talking about that. It should be very intentional, which
Yeah.
means that you should be gathering this information.
Right. That's
Hmm.
from the start. I remember my father once saying, when I turned 16, and that's the sweet 16. That's when young
Yeah.
girls start dating, and you have your
Yeah.
sweet 16 party. My father said, there is nothing sweet about 16. We were like, he was such a stick in the mud, Dr. Velma. We were like, what? He says, no. He says, everybody else may start their little dating and all this kind of stuff. He says, but that's not what we do. We go to school,
Right.
we finish school,
Right.
and we get an education, and we
Yeah.
learn how to take care of ourselves. He says, trust me, they're not going anywhere. They're gonna be here forever. Me.
Oh wow.
He would say that, and he was like, he said, you ain't got to look for them. They gonna always. I promise you, they gonna always be there.
Wisdom from dad.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
awesome. Well, what is love now that you've been married these many years? What
I
is
know,
love now?
28 years.
That's amazing.
28 years. I just said I was 29 when we got married. So I said, I've been married to you almost as long as I was, as many years as I was when we married.
That's
Um,
awesome.
love now is companionship. It
Mhm.
is dreaming together. It's
Mhm.
doing life together. It is enjoying life together.
Yes.
It's working together. He and I work
Yes.
together. Um, it's about creating memories,
Uh-huh.
and
Mhm.
then some days it's just sitting in the bed and Netflixing and chilling. You know what I'm saying? Just
Girl,
sitting at
binge
home,
watching our
binge
favorite
watching our
movies.
favorite shows.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then and of course one thing we've got started is Married at First Sight, that television show, the reality show. And
Yes.
we'll watch those shows and be assessing the people. I don't think they're gonna make it. No,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Wrong
So
choice.
yeah, so he's my friend. Alfonso is my
Mhm.
friend, and so that's just building love now is building your in a different phase of life.
Yeah,
He's
it's a
retired.
safe place to land. You
Yeah,
can be
right. So
you. Mhm.
exactly, he's peace.
Mhm.
Our mantra has always been, even our prayer, that our home always be filled with love and laughter, and
Yeah,
so that's what it is for us.
that's right. I agree. Prayer is definitely something that is important.
Yes,
It is part of our foundation as we build our lives together. It's
yes,
important that I cover my husband regularly. He covers me, and we cover our household. That's for sure.
yeah,
I was telling someone in one of my other interviews, I said, we operate from the 100% principle.
yeah,
And that is, we form a relationship where we're together at 100%. Anytime that percentage changes, it doesn't matter who's making up the difference.
yeah,
We will ensure that we're operating at
yeah. At a
100%.
100%, I love that.
Yeah, I was not doing well maybe a week or so ago, still trying to get my energy back. And I said, I was probably at a 2%. My husband was carrying everything at a 98,
Hmm.
including taking care of me, making sure I had what I needed to help me in my recovery. So it doesn't matter who's doing what. I said, I heard some woman said, he got to bring 50 and I got to bring 50. I said, oh, you creating a contract before you even meet the dude?
I know. And what is that anyway?
That's
I'm
ridiculous.
100% Anissa.
Yes.
He is 100%
And
Alfonso.
together we're
And so
100% the
yeah, right.
Bagbies.
We're a hundred squared. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So if I'm saying I'm only bringing 50%, then I'm bringing only half of myself to the.
You don't want to do no more
I don't
if it
want to do.
requires
That
it.
makes no. I don't. I never understood that. So I'm like,
And
I'm
if
bringing.
he's not feeling well and he can't give his
Right,
50%,
right.
what are you going to do that day?
So I'm like, I'm giving 100%.
It
He
doesn't
gives
make
100%.
sense, does
It
it?
it doesn't. But that's
No.
just, again, I made reference to this at the onset, that what mainstream media and what we hear and see
Yep,
in society in general will have you all messed up in the head,
that's right.
because the messaging they communicate
Hmm.
is fake. It's not
It really
real.
is. It really is. I know that my husband will be there for me no matter what happens, and I will be there for him. In that particular situation, that lady made the decision that she was not going to do that. I think
Yeah,
he had gotten really sick, and I said, "Wow, what a travesty that you demonstrated why he couldn't rely on you."
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought
That's
that was
no good.
sad. But
It
nope.
is. It
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
appreciate that. So tell me, is there any nuggets, any more nuggets you'd like to leave with the audience about love?
What I would say is don't rush into it.
Mm-hmm.
Allow it to marinate, like a good
Uh-huh.
soup or a steak.
Yep. Yep.
So, for a younger female, 17, 18, 19, my advice is the same thing my father said. I
Mm-hmm.
promise you they're not going anywhere. They will be here forever.
That's
Go
right.
ahead and focus on you,
Yep.
becoming a better version of yourself, get your education, establish a life where you are. I said I was a happy single woman. I
Mm-hmm.
was gainfully employed,
Uh-huh.
and started my own retirement, built, bought my own home. I did the things as a single woman that I wanted to do. Whatever I wanted to
Right.
do, I did it, right? So
Right.
I considered myself complete and I wasn't looking for someone to fill a void. But when I met my husband, he became a friend. And so he pretty much was to some degree the same way. So we were two complete people that came together to build a life. I think we put ourselves on a timeline and said, "Well, I got to finish school and then I got to get
Right.
married," and we rushed into the process. Don't rush that. Don't rush
Right.
that. Yeah, just take your
Right.
time and let love happen. And don't go looking for it, ladies. Don't go looking for.
That's right.
We're not the hunters anyway. We're
That's
the
right.
prize. Really, we
I
are.
remember that I came up in a generation where the focus was not necessarily on college education after high school. You
Hmm.
could do any one of those things you wanted to. And what I focused on was getting a job. I wanted to get off of my mother's payroll at the time
Hmm.
because she had raised 7 kids by herself and she had two that was coming after me. So my goal was to go to school at night. That was my
Yeah.
goal. And thank God along the way, once I got my job with the state government, I was able to move around and promote within state government, and it had its own university. So
Right.
I was able to take advantage of that and
Hmm.
still get my degrees along the way. And I think it's important for us to know that we all have different goals in mind, but don't throw your goals away and your dreams of
No, please
achieving
don't.
something with because you're busy trying to chase after something. My husband was chasing me. I was not chasing him.
And that's the way it's supposed to be.
And that's exactly right. When a man findeth, it didn't say when she finds him,
Mm-mm.
when he finds you. Because the
Right.
problem with that is if you busy trying to help him find you and he agrees with you without him doing the work that he needs to do, he's going to always try to figure out, did I make the right choice? Because I
Hmm.
didn't actually choose her. She chose
Right.
me.
Yeah,
And so you got a
exactly.
man now that's going to keep looking over his shoulder because he didn't get to be the man and
Right.
choose
Yeah.
you. So be careful with that. When that happened, he chose me and wrote his proposal in my yearbook on 12th grade on the last day of school to the woman who would be my wife one day. Now I was not looking for anybody.
Yeah.
I thought he was crazy. I said, dude, we're not dating anymore. We dated for 2 weeks in 10th grade and that was it. He went away. And what I discovered after asking my husband some of the questions to clarify that time in our lives, he had to go away and get himself together
Yeah.
as a man should. He
Yeah.
had to go away and get his own self established. Now, what
Exactly.
if I put the pressure on him and said, no, you either commit now or blah, blah, blah?
And
No, let
here's
him
the
do what he needs to do.
and you know why he did that? Because of the
Hmm.
standard that he felt like you had. So
Absolutely.
he's like, if this woman is gonna be my wife, I need to get my act together.
Get my
So,
act together.
right.
Yep.
I believe that one of the things years ago, Dr. Velma, I had an opportunity to speak to a women's group at church. I
Uh
was
huh.
asked to, rather, I didn't
Uh huh.
volunteer. And
Hmm.
because I had married, they considered me to have married young, so they wanted me to talk. And so I had to bring a biblical reference. I'm like, Lord, okay, so the
Who
biblical
marry
reference,
young
yeah, the biblical reference I gave was Ruth and
and
Boaz,
Boaz.
and
Hmm.
then Rebecca also and Isaac.
Hmm.
And I said, you
Hmm.
know what, the consistency, the commonality between Rebecca and Ruth is they were busy working.
They were busy. You
They were
use that
busy.
word.
They were
Hmm.
Ruth was gleaning, but she was trying to build a,
She got to eat.
sustenance for herself and her
Right.
mother-in-law. That's what
Right.
her focus was. She
That's
went out
right.
there sashaying amongst the wheat and the
No,
barley, trying to catch a man.
they
She,
didn't say
she
she
wasn't.
lifted up her skirt and tied it to the
Nothing. They
side
didn't
of her
say she had a
thigh.
halter on and
No,
all of it. And then Rebecca, you think about it, the man who was given the assignment to find Isaac's
he
wife
had to
was
go
given.
and get her.
He
Hmm.
did. He went and he was given a clue and said who the woman would be. Do you
Right.
know how much water camels drink for her to be serving them water? That's
Yeah,
where her focus was. She was
that's
making
right.
sure that they were refreshed and that their
Hmm.
camels or whatever they rode in on was
Busy doing
refreshed.
her job.
She was busy,
Hmm.
and she was noticed in the process. I just believe that if you when you get busy about doing what it is that you've been assigned to do, whatever that is, whatever
Yeah.
projects you're working on, whatever life goals and ambitions that you're working on, whatever, I believe when that's your focus, he will find you.
That's right.
He will
Because
find
he'll
you.
see you doing just that.
Right, exactly. Not
Hmm.
somewhere waiting to eat a meal at Ruth
Whining,
Chris because you hungry and thirsty.
whining because you want somebody else to feed you and hurry up and get you
Exactly. Right.
right. I agree.
Exactly.
Those are two great examples. So, what was the response to your presentation?
Well, it was a good response. There was one young lady at the time I was mentoring. She was a high school student and she had just graduated. She should have gone off to college, but she didn't want to leave her mama. And so I started talking to her about different options. And she was dating a young man who I liked. But I
Hmm.
told her, you're not sitting around looking cute. You're going to
No.
school. And
Yeah.
you're not just sitting and waiting for him to decide whether
Right.
he wants to be married because he
And
was
you shouldn't.
completing his education and everything. I said, I'm not saying don't to break up with him, but I am saying that while you wait, you need to be getting your education. You
Right.
need to
Get
be
your stuff in
bettering
order.
yourself so you get
Hmm.
together. Because if not, what'll happen is he will outgrow you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So she did just what I advised her to do, and they're
Hmm.
married now. Some odd, I don't know how many
That's
years.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
but I mean,
awesome.
I just believe the Bible has, if that's your standard, is at the foundation. There are enough tips, tools. There are wisdom nuggets in stories and everything that will guide
I
you when
agree.
you ask. And so, again, the standard. What standard do you set for yourself? That
That's
has to
right.
be a standard.
Well, guess what? That was our bell anyway, because we've been talking over 30 minutes now.
Oh,
What would be your closing nugget to the audience about love?
that just what I said earlier. Love is
Yeah,
not
I
an
was thinking the
emotion.
same thing.
Love is
Hmm.
not emotion. It is
Hmm.
a action word that stems from a commitment, from
Hmm.
commitment exclusively. And so, yes, you're going to have the butterflies, and yes, you're going to be overwhelmed with emotion. But that's like the infancy of love.
Right,
Everything else comes after that, and it has to be grounded, I believe, in friendship, building a
right.
strong relationship,
I agree.
having the standards and the boundaries that you set. And then after all that, if you said, I don't know what to look for, Nissa, grab my book while I said yes.
Right. Get some tools from people who have the wisdom,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. People that have been married, that'll
Hmm.
be honest and transparent,
Yeah,
that can pour into you. The people who have a marriage that you believe you want. If you want that marriage,
absolutely.
that's who you need to talk with, and be
Absolutely.
ready to hear that it hadn't always been pretty, because it's not.
Yeah.
But it's been real.
It's work and it
Yeah,
requires you choosing your mate every day.
every day.
Hmm.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I still choose him.
I do. I choose my husband as well.
Hmm.
I give him an
Amen.
extension every so often. I say, listen, I have added 35 more years to your contract. I think we're gonna
Look,
be married
here's
like
a
over
get out of jail
260.
free. Look, I'm trying to put it up there. Here's a get out of jail free card.
Yeah,
Free pass.
I know, right?
I appreciate having you on today. It's been wonderful. The fact that we spoke over 30 minutes and it went by so
Oh,
fast
it did
says
go by
that we had
quick.
a good conversation, and I appreciate your contributions to this topic. I know the audience will love it. I know they'll love getting in touch with you, getting a copy of your book. Those 10 tips are wonderful, powerful, and it should resonate with a lot of women out there. Thank you so much today, Dr. Anissa. Anything you want to close with?
No, thank you, Dr. Velma. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, it's been wonderful. Thanks, everybody. You know where to get in touch with her. You know where to get her book. You know what to do. We appreciate you and thank you for listening.